Part of the problem is that there is a myth that athletes need carbs to thrive at peak performance. People believe that carnivore cannot give us the speed boost or the quick energy boost carbs can. Hello, friends. It's the Carnivore Rabbi. A rabbi is a teacher and source of inspiration, and that's what this channel provides to carnivores of all faiths. Welcome. Are there any Carnivore Olympians? Don't think so. I have had a search for a while on Google News for carnivore athlete in the Olympics. I've gotten nothing. Now, on the one hand, this is not surprising. See, anyone who is in the Olympics or even remotely close to it is absolutely genetically gifted. They can eat whatever they want and still look great and still be great athletes. This is the reality. There are 8 billion people in the world, and a small, tiny percentage will have absolutely extraordinary genetics built for physical activity. So the carnivore diet might not make as much of a difference for them as it does for us. They are starting up here, where most of us are starting here and have deteriorated down here. Now, you might be thinking, but Dr. Sean Baker, he's the top rower in the world for his age, and he's an absolute carnivore. But think about it. He's older. He's in his upper 50s. No one in the Olympics is in their upper 50s. The late 20s is considered old in the Olympics. This is a different type of athletic event. These are athletes in the peak of their prime. And carnivore does not move the needle for them as much as it does for those of us who are older and not as genetically gifted. We all know this, and it's important to recognize. The carnivore diet affects people in different ways. Now, with Olympic athletes, they are burning so many calories that carbs like pure fuel that they use up instantly. Still, there is hope. While I found no total carnivore Olympians, I found a few interesting stories. Carnivore adjacent stories, you might say. The first is Brazilian swimmer Bruno Fradas. Before the 2016 Olympics in his hometown of Rio, he stopped eating red meat. And then, after progressing to the men's 50-meter freestyle final, he only got 6th place. And that was a big disappointment for him. Now, why was that a big disappointment? 6th place is still pretty good. He had won world championships, not Olympics, a different set of championships, 4 times. He was expected to do better. So now he decided to stop the diet he had been doing and instead listen to his natural body cravings. Quote, this is what he said. I stopped cutting things out. I stopped cutting out red meat, fat, and white carbs like pasta. That's when I started to actually get stronger. My training quality improved dramatically. I put good weight on in the weight room, and the quality of my sleep improved a lot. That's fantastic. He listened to his body. Does that sound familiar? Now, he probably would have done even better if he had simply added more meat and fat and ignored the pasta, but clearly he improved with meat. That's a great statistic, or that's a great story. Another tidbit I found out. Fake meat is an option at the Olympic cafeterias for the athletes. But very few athletes are actually consuming it. In fact, one stat I discovered said that 60% of the food for sale to the public in the Olympic grounds will be meat-free, vegetarian, not vegan, vegetarian. But only 33% of the food served to athletes will be plant-based. So the athletes want more meat, and they want real meat. Yes, they want pasta too, lots of pasta. But they know what enhances performance. Part of the problem is that there is a myth that athletes need carbs to thrive at peak performance. People believe that carnivore cannot give us the speed boost or the quick energy boost carbs can. And you know what? There is some truth to that, but it's only true, I have found, in two circumstances. It's true when one starts carnivore. Almost everyone I know suffers a bit of an energy drop in the immediate transition from burning carbs to burning fat. That's natural and to be expected. We're changing our body's fuel source. But once you are fat adapted, great, consistent energy abounds. Sean Baker is the world record holder for rowing in his age and weight class. And there are carnivore ultra marathoners. There are many carnivore bodybuilders. I'm working out more and lifting more than I ever have, and I'm totally carnivore. Lion diet. The second reason there is some truth to eating carbs for elite athletes is the extra edge it gives the very best athletes. We know that in the Olympics, 0.01 seconds makes a difference. One extra stroke in a round of 60 strokes makes a difference between a gold medal and nothing. So every ounce of energy matters. And carbs can be helpful for that. There's no denying that. And these athletes are in such good shape that the extra fat that some carbs may add to one's body really make no difference. But this should not deter us carnivores. Carnivore is not exclusively meant for the 0.001% of the population who are Olympic athletes. It is meant for the average person. It is the proper human diet. It also appeals to those of us who have struggled with other ways of eating and who have experienced difficulties and illnesses. I've mentioned many times that people who embrace the carnivore diet tend to be older. Most, judging by my conversations and YouTube comments, are in at least their mid-40s and often higher into their 70s and 80s. Why is this? First, because when we're younger, our bodies can take a lot more abuse. An improper diet doesn't affect us as much at a young age generally. But as we get older, we see the effects. Second, we've likely acquired some problems as we've gotten older. Could be physical, mental. We can't keep giving our body the wrong fuel. The body doesn't have enough left on its own to power through this. And third, perhaps most importantly, we're wiser. It's just true. We've tried other ways of eating. We've seen what works and what doesn't. And when we discover carnivore, it's like we found the decoder key. It works. And the effect is even greater because we're older and we've been through so much more before finding it. I am so grateful to have found it a few years ago when I did. I wish I'd found it earlier, but you know what? I may not have been ready for it. But to return to the Carnivore Olympians, there aren't any that I know of. But I anticipate we will see more elite carnivore athletes in the future. The truth is that minute improvements in performance can make a huge difference. And for some elite athletes, carnivore will give that to them. Here are a few that I found. These are not Olympians, but some very high-level athletes where carnivore is already working. Erling Haaland. He's a soccer player, football in Britain. And a newspaper headline said, quote, "The mysterious carnivore diet makes him the best striker in Europe." And he is incredible. I watched a couple videos. He's a beast, faster and stronger than anyone on the field. Next, Curtis Saronen, an Australian rugby player. I wonder if Dr. Chafee knows him. Before switching to carnivore, Saronen suffered from plantar fasciitis and was taking tons of anti-inflammatories before getting on the field. Now, as a carnivore, even after just a few weeks on carnivore, his health issues cleared up and his performance improved dramatically. Isn't that incredible? With some people, carnivore is just like a switch. Another Australian, Pete Jacobs, he's a triathlete, and he had major issues, fatigue, brain fog, body aches. But once he switched to carnivore, he said this in the news, all health issues vanished. He was back to his normal, high-level self. And because he saw such improvements, he's very strict carnivore, and he eats only meat. No eggs, nothing else. Oh, he does have some eggs, this from what I remember. But he eats organs, eggs, water, and salt. That's it. Another interesting athlete, Sonny Bill Williams. He's a heavyweight boxer. And think about it. Heavyweight boxing is no joke. And Sonny eliminated everything from his diet except steak, bone broth, and oysters. And he's had incredible results since then. These are inspiring stories. One more. Katie Kelly. She's a CrossFit athlete. If you've ever seen CrossFit, you know how intense that is. And while she was in CrossFit, she suffered a series of health issues, including infertility, Crohn's, hormonal imbalances. But once she switched to the carnivore diet, she regained this really incredible physical and mental health that she had when she started CrossFit, and she's kept it up. These are just a few stories. There are many more. You can see this profile I did of a top-notch carnivore athlete in Australia about a month ago. And keep on watching. I think in the future we may see a carnivore Olympian.